Right, let's talk about data preparation, also known as the data cleaning or data wrangling. So one of the challenges that we have, especially when working with big data, is that some of these data sets are very complex and difficult to understand, difficult to store, and it requires us to use a number of techniques in order to first have the data set into our systems. So we can do after that any sort of analysis. So having the data and not being able to use it because there might be problems cleaning the data or so forth is a challenge. So here is an example. This is the Yelp data set. I think that by now all of you know what Yelp is. This is an example. They did a challenge, an analytics challenge a while ago, and they also provide the data set for academic purposes. So we can use it for machine learning or for learning about databases, or in this case, for learning about big data. So the things about this data set is that is big, as you might imagine. So I will click here in the data set so you can have an idea of what we might have, and a little bit slow. And so we have about 6.5 million reviews from 200,000 businesses. There are 200,000 pictures taken by these users in 10 different cities. This is a subset of where the actual data set is, the entire Yelp data set. But as you can see, it's huge, it's big. And, I had the reviews right here, and I have to connect it with the business. Then I have to connect the reviews of the business with the pictures, and I have to aggregate that or segregate that by metropolitan areas. So that's a number that's a lot of work. Now, in addition to it, uh, these big data sets, especially when they are quite big, they don't come in a CSV format, like in the text format, like the one that we use with Excel. So they use a different format. They use structure file systems such as JSON, JSON, or they can use Parquet or Avro. And in this case, they use JSON, which I believe is by far the most popular. So a JSON file looks like an XML file. I don't know if you ever seen one of those. You're going to see that in a minute. So what I'm trying to say is that if we don't have the proper tools, this is something that you won't be able to do to work with this sort of data. Uh, so we need to do something about it. So here is the plan. So let's just start going step by step. We're going to use a tool that is part of the Google Cloud. And I have to be open about this. This is not the only tool that is in the market. As a matter of fact, last year, this tool was just Trifacta. Trifacta is the name of the company. And it seems like they have an agreement with, I don't know what kind of agreement they have, you can access to Trifacta. You can access Trifacta directly from the Google Cloud, and they have almost perfect integration with the Google Cloud, which is what we want. And but there are other tools as well. But in any case, we need a tool, especially when we are working with these massive files. So all of you have access to this to Google Data Prep. So here is the link. We're going to be using this throughout this class. As a matter of fact, I'm going to divide this video in several parts. So this will be part number one. So this is the tool. Now, before I start using the tool, I need to have data, right? So here's the data, Yelp, but it's not in my domain. I need to connect to it. So what I did is that I click data set, and I signed an agreement. You can also do that yourself. And I got the data set in my computer, and it's big. So now the second step is that I need to put it into my Google Cloud platform somehow. It has to be there, so I can do any sort of processes. So what I suggest you do is this: number one, go and create a new project. I already did that. It's called data cleaning. So I suggest you go and create a new project. Don't use the previous one. Use a new project just to avoid any sort of problem with permissions and so forth. Just create a new project. Put whatever name you want. I put data cleaning and activate the billing for this. So number two, we want to use a storage. We're going to use buckets. So far, I have two buckets. I'm going to create a new one for you. I want you to follow me doing this. So I'm going to click on storage. I think I deleted the bucket before, which is fine. So now I'm going to create a new one. And I have to put a name. Now, this name has to be unique in the Google Cloud. So one thing could be, I like to use MK672 is this class, and I will call it, this is Yelp. So I'll put number one so you can put a different number, and I will remember how to remember this. So you can put number two, number three. You use the same number as I do, you're going to get a problem. So I'm going to keep it like this, and I'm going to change the options. If I do, I'll probably put this in the same region where I had my data before, like Northeastern, so I can pay the least amount of money for that. So actually, let's do that. Let's put North US East 4, which is, you can see it's cheaper, the storage per month. And that's it. So when I will create this bucket. So it'll take a little bit of time. And now this works as a USB, imagine as a box.com or box.net or dropbox.com. There are many systems there. So now you can use this for, sharing your data on the cloud. So everyone, you have space. Remember, it costs you about 2 cents per month per megabyte. So I'm going to upload my file. I already did this. So this is the entire Yelp data set. The one that is academic for academic use, the entire Yelp. As you can see, there are some files where are like 5 terabytes, 5 gigabytes. And it's going to be quite big. Users 2 gigabytes. So we can still work with this, but I want to use this one, business. I put a copy of this in Blackboard. So you will need to download that to your computer and then upload this so you can follow the exercise with me. So now I have the data set loading. It will take a little bit depending on your internet connection. Now I'm moving the data set from my computer to the cloud so I can be doing the data cleaning part of it. As you can see, it has a JSON extension. So far, I imagine you know where it is or how it looks like. I don't like how it looks like, by the way. But that's the way it is. Like XML is a very similar structured file, and I don't like they use schemas in order to define the structure of the file, and I just don't like them. But I have to use them many times. So the loading is finishing, and so now I have my file right here. So let me close this. I have my file right here. So you have to do this first. You have to have a file that we can use in our exercise. So now I'm going to close Yelp. I don't need it. I will normally click on View Console on Trifacta, and I already did that. So I will go here. So this is the main screen from Trifacta. So I suggest that before you start, you go and check the tutorial, check the instructions, do a tour. We're going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it with you, but it's a good idea to start doing so. Now, the way it works is that it works like flow of data. So you have a flow, you have a data flow here. You create what's called a recipe. A recipe will contain instruction on how to process the file. Then you have the file process. Actually, you can have, let's say, here you have sales from, let's say, or let's say, this kind of Yelp. Reviews from April, these are reviews from May, these are reviews from June, and you can aggregate them into a single file and do different sort of processes. So that's how it works, more or less. So what I'm going to do first is going to click import data. It's going to be my first exercise. Yep. So, and I have different options to do so. I can upload a file right here. I can use Google Cloud services, and I can use BigQuery. I'm going to use BigQuery as the next step. I'm going to use BigQuery with a bigger data set. So far, I want you to notice this. I could have uploaded my data like I did before, right here. And if I do so, it is going to be stored in this bucket. This is a bucket that the system will create for me. Now, because I already did that in the previous step, right? I put it here. This is the name of the bucket. So you can see this is the name of the bucket. Yeah. So let me click and select this file. So now I want to import this data set. That's what I'm saying. So I click yes, and I can have a description. This is data set milk. That was good academic. This is just a description for me. And I can have a little bit of a preview of the data set. But let me just import it into my system. So that's number one. That's a simple way to do an import with this. In the second, I will record another video. So I will show you what to do after you have the data imported. So it is the original one. It is the one imported, but there has to be something in between. I'm going to show you in the next video. Thank you.